when price moves well, it will fall back into yesterday's previous day high, form as support, and make new highs in the new day. All right. So watching this today, if we bounce this area and end up holding it as support, I'm trying to go long at 25,979, 629.12 for QQQ calls and Q longs. If we do not, if we start to fail this at the market open with aggressive volume, or let's say we close below this before the market opens, I am biased towards shorts or puts at the open, okay? And I will simply look for either a breakout immediately at the open or a retest of this level to get into puts, all right, if we open up below. But that's what I'm watching for now. If we open up in the middle of the range, well, I'm watching to see if we can hold this level. I'll watch to see if we hold it. If we start to flush, I start to see some aggressive price action, I'll enter around 941, right? That's where I can take that entry. If we just end up bouncing this range and coming back up, I'm going to look to take my entry around 980 or 629.12 for longs. All right. MU, love the strength on MU here. If you took the bounce, I had to edit it. So the initial watch list I sent out was all messed up. My fat thumbs on my phone. But the initial watch list I sent out was all messed up. So disregard that initial watch list, but the edited version that I had to update like 3 minutes after, what I wanted to see was a hold of 411 and then basically a breakout. I believe the breakout was like here at 420.35. I think that was the level. It was pre-market high. I was mentioning a breakout for calls. So either trade would have been wonderful. If you took the bounce or the breakout on MU, the contracts returned wonderfully as well. I want to see if we can hold this range again today. I want to see if we can hold this 440 area. And if we can, I would love to go long at 442.97. All right. Be the 445 calls. By the way, the contracts that I'll be buying, they are on the watch list at the end of the sentence. Meta, I like the weakness on Meta. If Meta recovers, I don't really have much. If Meta recovers here, I don't have much. There's a lot of consolidation happening here. I would rather let it break above 713. You guys see that key level right there? 713. I would rather let it break above there before I tried any type of long on Meta down here. So that's something you want to be keeping in mind. But if it fails this level, obviously it's got a lot of room with that earnings play. It's got a lot of room. So I'll be watching for a breakout for puts on Meta. And then same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft, I love the weakness. We just had that the terrible earnings it had, which obviously was unfortunate, but it is what it is. But you can see two days technically back to back are just dropping. So curious to see if it could continue the selling pressure here. I would just simply be watching for a pre-market low break, 421.16, pre-market low break, 415 puts. All right. And that's really all I have on watch today. So I'm wondering, just trying to make sure, why is this not updating? My chat room is not updating as you guys are typing in it. All right. Maybe I need to keep it up here. Okay. Palantir. Are you talking about after they crushed earnings? Is that what you're talking about? It's post-earnings play. If you want to play upside on Palantir, that's on you. Post-earnings play that's just a little aggressive. It's just a little bit aggressive. So I haven't traded Palantir in a minute simply because I didn't like the range in which, like, how it was falling. It was like sharp drops followed by consolidation. So it's pretty tough to trade that price action. So that's why I just stayed away from it, honestly. I know we were trading Palantir a lot before, but it's difficult where it's at. If you guys are wondering why I switch stocks sometimes, it's simply because I see more opportunity somewhere else. That's why I'll switch. So, and I'll avoid certain stocks because of earnings or massive news events coming up. Earnings, I pretty much have to avoid them. Like AMD, I would have loved to have traded AMD today, but we got to pass on it because it has earnings. So, and if you don't know, you don't have to look at the earnings calendar I post, guys. You can look right here. See, it says next earnings report today. So any stock you click on, it will tell you the next report. Like Nvidia's in 22 days, Tesla's in 84 days. A strategy a lot of people like to use for these chips right here for AMD and Nvidia, what you can do is if AMD performs well today, you can start a starter. I'm not saying I'm doing this. I'm just saying this is what some people do because they're sister companies. If AMD performs well, usually Nvidia performs well also. So if you were wanting to trade AMD without being exposed to the super volatile Greeks, they're going to come trading earnings, you could swing Nvidia calls instead. Just something to think about. They're not directly correlated, obviously. They're two different companies, but I have seen a trend many times where if Nvidia has good earnings and gaps up overnight, Nvidia does as well. When I trade options, I trade 0 DTE, yes. All right, I'll make sure I'm recording over here. I need to. And also with yesterday being such a large day, you also should be coming from the perspective of you are not, I don't know how to word this properly. You are not trying to make a gajillion dollars today, all right? That's not what you're trying to do today. You have to be approaching from the perspective of, hey, look, I'm here to trade. You're just going to follow your risk appropriately. You should not be expecting a day like yesterday today. If we get it, cool. It'll be with a small position size. Okay. Don't go crazy today. I'm going to get my broker all loaded up here. Make sure your broker's unlocked. Microsoft, Meta, 700. $700 puts. All right, MU 445 calls. All right, let's get QQQ here. 630 calls, 627 puts. All right. It's looking weak at the open here, so I'm going to have my shorts ready. Gotta have Microsoft up here. Microsoft puts, Meta puts, and QQQ NQ puts. QQQ puts, guys. NQ shorts, QQQ puts. Fills at 25,923. I'm taking my first trim here. 25,923 was the entry. If you're not in it, just wait. If you're not in it, just wait. That was really quick. It was basically that pre-market low break on QQQ NQ right here. Same thing with Microsoft. It's moving real fast on Microsoft. Don't chase this. Contracts they're not gone crazy. $1.27 up here to $1.65, but I've taken one trim on Microsoft as well. All right, let me go ahead and draw these out for everybody. Those charts are massive. Stop loss is 15%, 15 points, but it's irrelevant. You have your stop loss at entry, okay? So you get stopped out at entry, or you got a 15% stop loss, one or the other. Why is this so big? Microsoft stop is at entry on Microsoft. Microsoft, a majority out just because I don't know how much that's going to return me. Sorry, the stop loss is not this big. I will take a re-entry on this QQQ trade. If we start to reject this again and come back down, I'm going to take a re-entry at 922. Only if we reject this again. Unfortunately, it was just a quick scalp. Microsoft, I've sold 3/4 of the position. I still like the reentry here. Same thing for QQQ, guys. Same exact thing. Your fill on these contracts would be a little bit later. The fill on these would be $1.40. So I would look to trim at $1.55. Right here. Take your first trim on this QQQ trade, guys. All right, now stops at entry again. Stops at entry again on NQ shorts, QQQ puts. Solid trade so far. Let this thing start to sell through here. I'm trimming again. 30% profit right here. 30% profit, taking my second trim here. Roughly 50 points profit on the second push down. Beautiful execution. We watched it fail this level again. Came down, taking that entry at 923 for a nice flush. 50-point trade to the downside. I am majority out of this trade. I have sold literally 90% of my position, guys. 90% of my position has been sold out of this trade. Next level I'm targeting is this 4-hour key level here with stops at entry. Okay, so it's going to be 74 points is that next target. Stop losses at entry, though. Sorry, I was trying to zoom in on Microsoft while it was happening. Microsoft is dying like we thought it would. Beautiful play here. Meta did not. That's okay because we got nothing to the upside. It didn't even get close to our entry. So it's not like you would have been faked out on that. Microsoft is paying beautifully here. I'm just looking again. Majority out on Microsoft. I'll look to see if we can hit 406. I doubt it, but that's the next level I got. All right. Microsoft on the 415 puts, I've trimmed twice. I trimmed once at that $1.60. Trimmed again at $2.55 a contract because that was about 100% profit on Microsoft if you took the Microsoft breakout. Happened at the same time as the QQQ one. All right, we got more selling pressure here on QQQ. Remember, stops should be at entry now on the second QQQ trade. If you didn't get on the first one, don't worry about it. If you didn't, you should have taken 2 trims. So if you haven't taken 2 trims, I would just trim now. If you haven't taken 2 trims. Beautiful. All right, 627 puts. Again, your fill would have been a little bit later on the second entry. You would have filled around $1.40. It's about 210 right now on the contract, so they're moving well. Boom. Let's take that third trim here, everybody. This is 75 points profit. Let's take that third trim right here. All right, stops are back at entry. I have 5% of my position left, just so everyone's aware. I have 5% of my position left. How many contracts? 100. I went in with 2,000 contracts. I have 100 left. Yes, of course you can ask questions. That's half the reason you should be here. Well, that's the main reason you should be here. Go ahead. What's your question? Remember, I have 5% of my position left. We got the 70 points, 75 points profit. Beautiful trade so far. I want to see 100 points. We got close, but would love to see it. A little bit of a sketchy 5-minute candle close. I do like that we're below the 4-hour level, but just keep in mind for those that want your stops and profit, if we come back above this 4-hour level, it's a massive red flag. All right, just so you guys are aware. I just don't like how much we wicked off of this 4-hour level, 850. So, yeah. I got a small position size left, so my stop loss is at entry. But if you have trailing stops, if you're someone risking a lot of your position still, if you know who you are, if you're someone that chased this and you entered late, just keep that in mind, okay? We have to stay below this 4-hour level to see some solid, momentum push down. Thank you. John, it is very tough to trim on TradingView because there's a little bit of a delay. With the fact that you're linking a broker, so it has to go through another entity to submit and execute every single order you press. So there will be a little bit. TradingView, I know a lot of you guys like trading on TradingView because it looks really pretty and you can see your P&L with the stop loss and all that. Me personally, I would just stick to your broker. If you have the ability to. If you can have 2 screens, you can do what I'm doing, TradingView and your broker. I think it's best to stick to your broker, especially if you trade on Tradeovate. because those fills are incredibly fast and accurate. So I would definitely prioritize trade of 8. Microsoft. Yes. No, if you got the winning trade, you sold all your contracts, leave. Good job, Luca. Good job, man. Yeah, guys, don't stick around if you got your win. The greed will more than likely bite you. Okay? The greed will more than likely bite you. Trust me. Too many people in here will take one of my call outs. They'll make money, but they'll mismanage it a little bit, maybe, right? They'll maybe sell a little bit too early. Maybe they sold this whole thing at 15 points profit. And then they'll try to re-enter the rest of the day and kind of get smoked, right? They'll take loss after loss after loss, chasing a trade they should have just stayed in. That's the whole reason why we leave some runners here, you know? That's one of those things where discipline really plays a big role here. Discipline plays a big role because it's hard to find a trade setup. It's hard to enter in a trade, and it's hard to stay in a trade. But one of the hardest things is once your trade is done, staying out of the market. That's one of the hardest things. My stop loss, Daniel, is at entry. Stop loss is at entry. So wherever you filled, like up here at 923 on the second push down, wherever you filled, that's where my stop loss is. Original entry was also at 923. Both entries are at 923. The first trade obviously was fast. That's why I told you guys not to chase it. I said, if you're not in it, just wait. And obviously your patience paid off. And then I just prepared you for the next setup. Hey, if we come up and reject this range again, I'm going to look at the same spot for a second entry. I couldn't have prepped you better. All right, boom, 100 points profit. Let's trim again. 100 points profit, guys, on QQQ puts, NQ longs. There we go. What a beautiful trade. I think Paul helped us with this trade. That's what I think happened. This is too clean of a move. God bless him. All right. I have 2.5% of my position left. I got 50 contracts. I guess that's 2.5%, right? 5% being 100. Yeah. At this point, I want you to use my 4-hour levels, okay? As we're watching this play out, just keep an eye on my 4-hour levels over here, okay? Kind of like what I said right here, pretty textbook, right? Hey, guys, if we can stay below this 4-hour key level, we should see a nice continuation. And sure enough, that's what we've gotten, right? We retested that 4-hour key level right here perfectly at 25,891. Beautiful rejection of the level, just like I said, nice sell-through. So that's where we got that extra little, 30 points. We were able to squeeze another 30 points out of that. No, I did not say NQ longs. I did not. Jerry, please do not enter in any calls, man. Jerry, please look at my watch list. All right, take a look at my watch list. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up with you here so I can talk you through it really fast, just in case you're new. So Jerry, pay attention real quick. So take a look at my watch list where it says on the far left of circle, it says share your profits, watch list, chat room, etc. Click watch list. On the first one, it says watch list 2/3/2026. I want you to look at NQQQQ. I wrote on there 25,945, all right, which is up here. 25,945, this 4-hour key level, all right, and 628.4, this key level right here. I'm watching for a breakout for puts or for shorts. Need to be careful just in case this forms as support, etc. But if during the actual live, all I was looking for before the open, I said was if we open below this, I am biased for puts on the day. That should immediately signal your brain, hey, all right, if we're below this level, James wants to go short. Doesn't mean you need to agree with me, but that's what I'm saying in terms of helping determine if we're going long or short. Just take a look at the watch list, look where we're at in the chart, and then from there you should be able to derive like, hey, okay, they're probably in shorts. And look at my trading view. That's why I do this, so you can understand where the entry was for your own comparison, just in case I don't call it out. And also so you can see where we're at on the chart currently. Because when I first started this group, I wasn't doing this. I was just calling it out. But a lot of people like this visual. So next, we're going for 150 points profit, guys. That's what we're going for next, for that next trim on NQQQQ. It'll be in the middle of 2 of my 4-hour levels. So as you can see right here. next PT. Oh, sorry. If I confused you, sorry. I see a lot of you guys were super focused on Tesla today. I want to ask why. Why were so many of you very focused on Tesla today? A lot of people, it's even in the private and the Q&A, there's a lot of people saying Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. Why is everyone so focused on Tesla today? I mean, it bounced off my support level. That's the only thing I can see, but still, even that is tough. You know what I mean? I don't know why you would want to, skip Microsoft and skip QQQ for Tesla. So I need to put this out here now. Yes, I'm trading the closest I can to 0 DTE. Yes, that is correct. So to me, like my Microsoft, there's 04 February expiration. So these expire tomorrow, Wednesday. Okay. Let me touch on that really quick because I'm sure a lot of you guys have questions. Well, they're like asking about day trades. How are you able to close your positions so quickly? It's Webull. It's fantastic. Webull, you can do everything very fast. You also got to remember, I've been doing this about 6 years now, so I'm pretty. I have a good system. Whoa. Okay, sell. Everybody sell. QQQ. Everyone should be selling a big portion here. This is $4 a contract. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, this obviously blew right past our 150-point trim. We're sitting here now at 200 points profit on NQ, QQQ, everybody. That was a complete dump. Wow. Beautiful. Hey, it worked in our favor. Let's take it. That's 200 points profit right here, guys. Huh. If you got in on the original entry, you're almost at 300% profit here. I'm not going to lie. This is a pretty incredible trade for QQQ. It went up to $4.33 a contract. If you got in on the re-entry, which is around $1.40 a contract, this is 209% profit on QQQ. All right. Beautiful dump though, man. Absolutely beautiful dump here. But here, got a baby position left on Microsoft as well. All right. So I just want to target this next 4-hour level. So that'll be 250 points profits. All right. We should see this with Nvidia giving this up. We should see this. Nice, JPD. Good job, man. Hey, Microsoft, brother. I shouldn't have said that. I don't know if you're a guy or a girl. We've clearly formed an area of interest here, okay? Because we're starting to hesitate a little bit. Oh, why is it white? Sorry, I don't want that to be white. Oh, that was the text. Man. Look at NQ dumping with Nvidia. You guys see the confluence between Nvidia and NQ? You guys see that? That was pretty nice little read there, right? Nvidia looks like it's going to dump, and then it does dump, and then there you go, see Nvidia and NQ dumping with it. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, I'm going to trim it here on QQQ, guys. $5.10 a contract. I'm taking my trim on QQQ NQ. Slightly early on NQ, but the contracts have moved so well because I'm trading QQQ, so I got to be reasonable here. I'm trading based off my option contracts, not the chart. But wow, $5.12 a contract. There you go. You guys got it. 250 points profit. 250 points profit. What a banger trade. Wow. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. That's just incredible. So this is 345% profit on QQQ. If you're wondering the disparity between the fills, 345%. I don't know what it would have been on the original. Let's see. Oh, now it's at 550. Now this thing's just dumping. These contracts are picking up heavy value. Heavy value here. Divided by 1.4. 270%. That's a shame. Big difference. So 270% to 345% profit down here. depending on your if you got on the first or the second entry. All right, I'm just going to target 300 points profit now. Again, this is primarily being driven by Nvidia. Me calling out Nvidia, that dump it was going to have at 182.97 before it did it. Again, that's what led to this big drop here on NQ that we're seeing for a nice push and continuation down. We had that good hold of that 4-hour level I mentioned originally. I said as long as we can stay below 25,891, that 4-hour key level I have, we should see a nice continuation for the sell through. So if anything, that could have been a third reentry criteria for anyone that was liking that trade. And then now we've seen this nice push down. Stop losses were in profits right above that 4-hour key level, 25,852. We got close, but we didn't come back high enough. So our stop losses held up, and now we are being rewarded. We are being rewarded. These contracts have moved astronomically. We're now at $6.08 a contract. Unfortunately, I do need to trim again. I'm basically just trimming every dollar push on the contracts. You don't have to trim on NQ here. You can wait for 300 points if you would like, but on QQQ, I'm trimming again. $6.08 a contract, 605 on the fill here. This is I'm having deja vu from the other day. 428% profit. And you can see your percentage profits on Webull, by the way. If anyone's wondering how I know the percentage, it shows you on Webull. It says it by your thing. It just updates you as it moves. All right. Keep an eye on Meta. I wasn't trying to take this breakout here on Meta after it had this wild price action on Meta, but it is bouncing my key level at 703. You guys see this? So if you did take that 705 break, just be cautious of this, because what it did up here, it could do down here. It could bounce back into the range. The fact it didn't break through with NQ is a little bit worrying. So Tyler, you're right. That was your plan. You stuck to it. You should be very proud of yourself today, Tyler. Do not be kicking yourself, my friend, please. I mean, remember, Tyler, everyone's a really good trader after the fact, right? But I'm sure when you sold at 50 points profit, you were like, hell yeah, dude. That was my plan. I executed. I'm done. So you should be very proud. James, on the second entry, you're looking for rejection. What confirmed that rejection? The level that I said, the 25,947. If we can reject that level again, that's all I said. So that's not necessarily volume. That's just you seeing the level reject. So you see the level reject. That's confirmation one. Oh my God. All right. I got to trim again. $7 a contract. What is going on? I can't even answer questions. What is of course, my little news computer keeps shutting off. Hello. Sorry, hold on. I just want to see. I've trimmed, by the way, at $7 a contract. What on earth is happening? You know, I'm about to buy like a Bloomberg terminal so I can be fully up to date on news, because this is getting annoying. All right, so we've hit the 300 points profit, guys. Obviously, this thing is just absolutely dying. Now we're just going to target 350 points profits, because this is astronomical. This is truly astronomical. There's nothing we can really do about this besides let your runners run, let that position do its thing. This is 334 points profit. I'll target 350, but I just got to let it keep going. No, so I'll use volume. Are you really about to hit it again? All right, I'm waiting for $8 a contract to trim again, but otherwise, just let this thing do its thing, man. Good thing that my internet was working today, right? I felt pretty crappy feeling yesterday, missing out on all that easy money that would have been made. Well, not easy, but you get my gist, right? Because I wasn't able to trade yesterday. I literally sent an email to AT&T and I was like, you cost me over 6 figures yesterday. Please fix your internet. They're probably reading that thinking I'm full of BS. That's probably what they're doing. Got 548% profit here. Oh, I'm still on my, I wish I had 548 contracts to sell. That'd be amazing. All right, 350 points profit, guys. This would probably be your last trim. This is technically my last trim right here. I am legitimately, I have one contract left for fun, but I took my last real trim. I sold 24 contracts. So that was my last real trim. Consider me basically out of the trade. I have one contract as like a YOLO thing. Let's see what it does. But one QQQ contract. Okay. I paid $115 for it. So, and now it's worth $720 a contract. I'll have stop loss and profit maybe around futures. Good for you. You can trade NQ and you can pay $3 for a Webull broker, and it's $3 a month, and you can get level 2 data. You don't have to deposit $5,000 to have a Webull broker, guys. I have the referral link. You can even use the referral link. Obviously, I get a couple of cents from that, but we both get a couple of cents of some stocks. Like I've gotten Snapchat stock because you guys use the referral link. I obviously never would have bought Snapchat stock, but I'm just keeping it because they gave it to me. But you can just use the link. You get a little free stock, a portion of a stock. And then in there, the order book level 2, you have to subscribe to it. It's $3 a month. It'll charge you to be a credit card or PayPal or anything. But it's, in my opinion, that is the best $3 a month you'll spend of your life. It's $3 a month for order book level 2, the data. And that's, I would say how I take 95% of my trades is reading volume on order book level 2 and time and sales. So, all right, cool. How do you enlarge level 2? Well, make sure you're on QQQ, the stock, and it says level 2. So you're clicking QQQ. And then from there, it'll say order book level 2 at the top. In between where it says the bid and the ask, there's the number 50, or there's the number 20, I think, at default. You can change that number though. You can change it to 50. You can change it to all, and you'll see everything. But you want it vertically. You don't want it horizontally. You want it vertically because it runs vertically. So you'll see more information that way. Jonas, I wouldn't trade a 150K account unless you got it for free. If you're trading a 150K account, just because they're a little harder to pass. But if you're trading a 150K account, I would say 15 to 20 MNQ. 15 to 20 MNQ is what I would trade on a 150K account. Please go look at my education section as well, guys. A lot of these questions, a lot of you guys are answering because you're new, just for time's sake, because I have to leave. Refer to the education section. I'd probably answer any question you would have in the education section. It's all included in your subscription. In terms of how I trim, good trade management, risk management, psychology, breakout strategies, the whole 9. It's pretty much all in there, everything you would need. What you would pay someone else, $4,000 for their boot camp to teach you a 15-minute orb, it's all included in your subscription, okay? So please, please, please take a look at that. Don't be daunted. Don't open a video, see it's an hour long, and go F this and close it. That's just not going to get you anywhere, okay? Just, hey, watch 20 minutes of it. Come back to it later. Watch another 20 minutes later. Come back later, all right? And I have a lot more stuff on YouTube now also, if you're not a fan of the Circle platform. I can't upload much more to Circle because it's capped at a certain memory limit, and I have to future-proof this. I need to think for the future. I need to be able to upload stuff in Circle, obviously, so I'm not just going to upload many videos in here anymore. It's going to be primarily YouTube, all right? You're welcome, guys. Yeah, I'm building an armory, man. Got to have the armory up. I got the massive generator. Now I get the armory. I got gas masks. I got MREs. You name it. Oh, man. I don't have many guns. I'm waiting to buy my guns until I can actually have somewhere to put them. I can't buy a bunch of guns with 2 little girls running around. So, all right. All right. Yes. Yes. Some of you notice in the shadows, the one behind me. Yes. All right, guys. Wonderful trading day. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you guys all for coming. God bless everybody in here. And remember, good lesson, from Paul. Cherish your loved ones, your best friends. If you haven't talked to them in a minute, please call them, text them, tell them you love them. If you don't have time to call them,